forgot the mics were on.
There you go, yeah.
I was just kidding, I never have trouble with that.
I kicked you out of class early.
I was just a little church mouse.
Like that.
There we go.
All right, welcome. Call the October 2nd Board of Works meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right, we will start with the approval of the minutes from the September 18th meeting. I was not here, so I will count on you two gentlemen to recollect that meeting and make those recommendations.
I move to accept.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And- Okay, thank you. Welcome to our visitors this morning. Appreciate you coming in for our Board of Works meeting. Lynn, anything from your end on oral and written communications?
I have nothing.
Okay. With no unfinished business then, we'll move right into new business. We've got a street closure request for Spooktacular. And Paul, I believe, is going to present that. Spooktacular is October 30th, and this is a drive-through only Spooktacular. So, Paul, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we're doing something a little different this year. Because of COVID, we weren't sure what we were going to be allowed to do. Oh, I can take it off.
Well, just when you speak, because it's hard through the microphones.
Trip. So we're doing a drive-through Spooktacular. What the plan is for everyone to pack their kids in the car, costume, dress your car, we don't care. Start at the Old Owens parking lot, come down Center Street, and the first table with giving out candy will be at the City Hall Plaza driveway. And then we'll have tables strategically placed about a car length apart, going all the way down to the lake on Buffalo, around the new road, as long as it's in good condition. If not, we'll bop over onto Canal, come back on Indiana into the parking lot at the park, and then past the jail museum. So they're doing a spooky display, not scary, just spooky. And so we have different merchants like the Optimus and Miller's, any merchants downtown who normally participate in Spooktacular will be invited, plus all of the park departments, Fall Fest, and any churches that want to be involved are allowed to set up a table, pass out gifts or package candy. Everything needs to be packaged or wrapped. Those who are dropping the candy into the bags in the car, gloved and masked, so there'll be no contact. And then, it's basically how many kids are in the car, here's 4 bags, and then they'll move on to the next stop. So that's the thought.
And this diagram shows the actual route, which will be down Buffalo, down by the plaza, and then back up Indiana.
Right.
Now, one thing I want to clarify, and Chief Wilson and I talked about this before, the cross traffic on Fort Wayne and Main will continue, correct?
Correct. There will
Okay.
be, or we'd love for there to be a crossing guard to help the cross streets flow, like stopping our
Yeah, we don't want
trick-or-treat
people
traffic.
blocking the intersections.
Right. We'll stop, we won't, we'll have them stopped before the intersection so that cars can go
Who have you
across.
arranged to do that?
We talked to Clay at the meeting,
Okay,
and he was going to contact the police department,
okay.
and if they
And
cannot.
or potentially fire department to help, because that's going to require 4 individuals.
And then possibly one on Lake Street.
Yeah.
And then we'll take care of the traffic flow.
And Canal will not be closed either, so you're going to need one probably down at Canal.
We were going to close Canal at Detroit. so that there's no incoming that way.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha.
Because otherwise, that'd be a huge mess, because there's no place for them to go, because everything's one way.
Okay, you're right. I
One way
remember
down
discussing
Buffalo,
that.
and then one way out Indiana.
Okay. All right. So I know this is a little bit on the fly, and it's a little bit of a reaction to try and keep an event that I know is popular. I think Paul, you and your group have done a great job of trying to plan this as safe as possible. I know you've vetted it with the health department, and they're good with it. I would, Chief, do you have any questions?
The only other thing is, Paul, on your map, you've got Market Street, Winona, and you've got arrows on it. Are those going to be open for flow traffic?
No. Well, Market will be east-west, but
Okay.
not north onto
So
Buffalo.
Market Street down here, you're not going to have tables out on, it'll be,
No,
okay.
no. We're going to close the standard T for the First Friday T
Yeah.
at Market, Lake,
Okay, very good.
Indiana,
I was
and
just
Maine.
concerned about traffic on Winona Avenue with tables and
No.
traffic on Market Street.
No.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, they'll just be, the only traffic will be center to Buffalo,
Yeah.
but we are closing the T so that we don't have anybody trying to get down Buffalo that is not part of the Spooktacular event.
Mayor, I think we can provide 2 vehicles to help her.
Awesome, thank you. If you'd like to pass out candy too, that'd be fine.
We usually try to do that, so I'm sure that we'll be able to accommodate and help.
So Paul, let's get back to this. They're going to start at Owens. They're going to come down through Lake, and they'll just use the normal light there. There won't be any queuing on Lake.
I would like a
Right,
live
center.
body there just to help
Okay, so you're going to have, that's enough
stop people.
to keep from blocking the intersection, but,
Right.
but they will use the traffic signal that's
Correct.
there. Then the closure, Center Street will be closed and people will go left. When does the event, where's the first pickup, if you will, for?
It's at the City Hall parking lot.
Okay, so the event itself will start at the City Hall parking lot, turn north onto Buffalo, come around onto Indiana. Where does the event conclude?
At the jail museum. So back at Center,
So at Main
They'll be
Street,
able
they
to
will go
go-
through Main Street?
you'll go through Main Street, past the
So really, it
jail.
ends at Center Street, that's where?
Correct. They can go left on Center, or they can go straight through.
Okay, so you're gonna need somebody at Lake Street, you're gonna need somebody at Main and Buffalo, Fort Wayne and Buffalo, Canal Street,
Well, Canal will be
not
closed.
Canal, it'll be closed, Fort Wayne and Indiana, Main and Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when they get up to Center, they just will follow the light and
Right,
they'll
it'll be
done.
barricaded. There'll be an open lane to get out. So that would be the
Yeah,
southbound lane.
yep.
And then Center will be closed, so they cannot turn left into Center.
Dustin, did you have a question?
Right.
Yeah, Paul, just, okay, just so we know we're okay on our signage, we have our trailer out here for the typical, trailer, you're talking about closing canal. Are you taking signs on down there, or is that something that we need to provide? I guess it wasn't really clear on the map, so I just want to make sure we're giving you the support.
If you could get the barricades down there, and we can just pull them across, that would be great. If you have empty, open guys that would like to put them into place, that would be perfect, but it's after hours. Because we're not closing it until
And you
until
just
6.
want it closed down at Detroit canal.
Correct.
Okay, we'll get them down there for you.
Awesome, thank you.
So it looks like the closure's starting at 4 o'clock and going till 10 o'clock. The event's running from 6 to 8. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And again, that's on October 30th. You're square on where the barricades are going to go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're square on the intersections that will remain open for east-west traffic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as far as the safety information on those that are participating, all that information's getting out, correct?
yes.
And I would ask that you promote the safe Halloweening practices, even if they're in the car. I still think it's probably reasonable, at least the person that's gonna be taking the candy should have a mask on.
Okay.
Just as part of the safety of this. But I think, I know Plymouth canceled their downtown event, and I'm very happy that we're able to do this. I just want to be safe about it.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
All right, questions?
No. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much. If anybody has any questions, they can give me a call.
All right, and
Thank
be
you.
sure and touch bases with Dustin and Chief on
Okay.
their assistance with you.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. And while Paul's walking back, Stacy sent out some information, I think today, regarding some of the recommendations for just the regular trick-or-treating as far as the safety. A lot of this came from State Department of Health, making sure they understand that you really need to wear a mask, not a Halloween mask, but a facial mask, because a Halloween mask doesn't function if they're going up to houses and they're in groups like that. So, and there's other things on there. So please make sure that you see that, those recommendations for trick-or-treating. All right, thank you. Item 2 is street road closure, Babes Bubbles and Brunch by 110 Craft Meadery. Jason, you want to come up to the microphone and present, talk a little bit about what this event is. And while you're coming up, well, go ahead, and then we'll get into this.
So, a long story short, Glam, which is the boutique down the street, for the last 5 years, we've partnered and hosted their anniversary event. This year, obviously, we're dealing with a little different world. Usually it is indoors. So our idea this year was to do a brunch street side out on Buffalo Street. It'll be the 10th of October. So what we're requesting is that we would be able to shut down Buffalo Street directly in front of my business, which is 110, and that will cover between Center Street and Main Street, I believe. And the event itself will run from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it'll be a brief period. But we are asking between 9 and 5 for street closure, but I asked for more than what I technically need, so if we need to scale that back, I'm happy to do so as well. And that's essentially what we're looking to do. It'll be about 50 guests. My staff is going to be operating it and serving it. There won't be an outdoor bar. My bar indoors will actually be facilitating any of the beverages that will be supplied. So it's essentially just a 50-person socially distanced brunch event.
So is this a fundraiser?
It is not a fundraiser. There is no non-for-profit involved in this one. It is just 110 and Glam.
And are these tickets available to the public?
They are.
Okay. That's the bigger question to
Yep.
me.
They are.
So the event is open to the general public, but it's a ticketed event.
Correct. Correct.
And I think the first year they had their event, we allowed that to occur down on Buffalo Street, south of Market, north of the tracks. I think we did
That
a
is
fashion
accurate.
show or something on a Saturday evening.
Yes.
And that worked well, and it was the same type of event. It's a public event, but it requires a ticket.
It was a little later in the season, and I think we got hit with some bad weather and
Yeah, it
some
was pretty
wind, if I
cold.
recall. So we tried to move it up a little bit this year.
What's your plan if you get bad weather this year?
We're going to have to bail on it. We'll have to back away from it, which will be unfortunate, but because we really can't have a plan B to slide everybody indoors and still be socially responsible, we'll have to just refund and say we're sorry.
I know a lot of communities are trying to help our local restaurants and small businesses in these difficult times, and I think that's all a part of this as well. So I'm certainly in favor of this. Are there any other questions?
No.
I move to accept the request.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion?
I have one suggestion, and I don't know if it's possible. I know I was talking to Paula, because I know Paula has a fair amount of daytime business, and I don't know if it would be possible to shut down a section of Buffalo Street or remain a section to be open I didn't know if it had to go all the way to the intersection or not, and if it doesn't, I don't need all of Buffalo. I'm only gonna need directly out in front of my business for about 250 feet. So if that would allow people to turn onto Buffalo, and that is a thing that the street department would allow, I'm open to that. I just wanted to throw that out there, but I'll follow the rules as they exist.
I'm not sure you want that.
Okay.
People pulling in and then being dead ending with
Sure,
no outlet. That would be my guess. Chief, any comments on that?
I would keep it from Main.
Okay.
Yeah,
And will the farmer's market still be going on?
Yes.
at that time? Okay.
but they're done at 1, I believe.
Okay.
All right, so I was about ready to call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Jason. Hope the weather works for you.
Well, what else could go wrong?
Yeah.
All right, this next item, Chief, you want to approach to talk about this? This is a travel request that we've actually already approved, but this involves out-of-state travel, and I wanted to bring it to the public so we can have this discussion, because as we have worked through COVID restrictions, I have placed a ban on any travel outside of the state. And this is an extenuating circumstance. I did have the chief checked with the state of Ohio and the state of Indiana. I know some states are requiring quarantine if you come in from a different state. So this is all predicated on travel restrictions imposed by the state. And if there would be changes between now and when this is to occur, I would want to make sure that your approval of this would be contingent on there being no travel restrictions to and from the state of Ohio. All right, Mike.
We did, actually, there was emails back and forth and some documentation from the state of Ohio and actually even the county, that Bowling Green, where the college is at, that we're going to be sending Lieutenant Pfeiffer to. And as the mayor made the comment, if there's anything at all that changes with Ohio, we definitely will be pulling this so that he doesn't go. But we did reach out to them so that we had the written documentation back from Ohio, and we forwarded it up to the mayor's office for him to be able to review.
So any out-of-state travel, I like to bring back to the board here until the emergency order is lifted by the governor, I should say. But I think it's important that we're still restricting travel to within the state, but there are extenuating circumstances, and again, providing that there's no travel restrictions in the state that he's going to. And this is on campus at, I think, Bowling Green University.
Yes, it is. We've used this agency before. We've communicated with them so that we know what's going on, and we will definitely be following up the 17th, 18th, right before he leaves, to make sure that there's been no changes and they don't have any problems going on campus.
Questions?
Chief, limited opportunities and obviously here in the state.
Yes,
of-
there is.
In time, okay.
We used to use, both of you, well, actually, the board probably remembers, we used the large conference in Indianapolis. We've moved away from that because of cost, and it's just not providing. This is a company officer class that Lieutenant Pfeiffer will be taking and bringing back and extending to our own officers here.
Okay. George, any concerns? Questions?
No, I will move that we okay the travel authorization contingent, of course, upon the state of Ohio's
Yes.
restrictions and travel, changes in that
Yes, sir.
at your discretion.
I'll second your motion.
Any further discussion? Yeah, I think the only thing I would also want to add is I know that there's time away from the event, and I would expect that he
That-
follow the protocols that
Correct.
you've established in the department for the wearing of masks and the avoidance of those social situations.
We've had that discussion, yes.
Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item, this is a contract worksheet with Bid Computers. During the pandemic, we have, as you know, created virtual meetings that also simultaneously we boxcast. And the way that we were set up, you can see when we do a meeting like this, we have to call in and we stick a microphone down. The problem is the individual that's calling in has to be able to hear everyone in the room, and there's no audio that goes into the call-in feature, the conference call unit, other than the microphones that are sitting there. Oftentimes, the call quality is not good. So utilization with the utilization of some CARES Act funds, we're going to try and improve that situation so that we can actually tie our audio in that we use for Boxcast and for the room, tie that audio directly into the call-in feature so that we don't have to rely on a mic and then the microphones that are built into that. It's not a good setup. So essentially, we're trying to improve the quality of sound for our virtual meetings at the end of the day. It would also require some improvements in the audio system here and the ability to virtually put those individuals on the screen much easier so that they can be seen and be a part of that meeting. So we had Brady take a look at it. The cost is $18,323.27. Will be reimbursable with CARES Act dollars. So asking that you approve that to upgrade our ability to improve our video conferencing. I know this. Go ahead.
I appreciate the efforts. I mean, I've been one of the council members and members on this board that has used all this, and anything we can to make it even better. I mean, it's been really, really nice. The other thing I didn't see this morning, again, CARES funding, you're telling me completely green.
Yeah, we'll submit this. Yes.
Okay, yeah. I really appreciate the effort by your staff, Joe, to take care of this and make it even better. Thank you. Anything?
We're okay with it.
I move to accept.
I'll second that.
All right. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I would add that the county is doing, they're actually, they didn't have a streaming service like we have, so they're going to stream and do the same thing with their CARES Act money. So I think it's a good use of that money, not knowing where we're going with virtual meetings.
Right.
But I assume that virtual meetings will continue to be an option even beyond the COVID emergency. All right, thank you. Next item is a property donation. Justin?
Yes, so the city received a letter offering to donate a parcel. The parcel number is 004040073A. This is the north portion of Lot 24 in the Thralls addition. The city, after reviewing the property, it looks like it would be a strategic parcel if there was to be a need to expand the Public Works Department in the future. So the Planning Department would recommend that the board approve the acceptance of this parcel.
All right. Dustin, any comments on that piece?
No, that's just, no.
Okay. I mean, it is contiguous with our campus, so it certainly makes sense if someone's willing to donate the property, that we look at it. Jeremy, I know you and I talked a little bit about it. Do you have any comments on it?
I would just, we need to get with Scott on what that process would look like, so I want to hear from Scott on how we would go.
Yeah, I think the first thing we should do is a lien title search to make sure that it's owned by the owner, free and clear, and there's no liens against the property.
So is it requisite that the Board of Works approve the process or approve the,
I would probably say if you want to approve it, then we can.
At least moving
move towards
forward
the
with it.
process and conditionally accept it if it comes back a clean title search.
Yeah, I don't think we're asking for you to officially accept. I think we're asking basically for you to allow us to proceed with doing our due diligence on whether or not, we can
Okay.
accept it.
Yeah, Dustin,
One thing, I have to look at it again, is this, my only question, is this something that we're going to have to maintain as far as the city? Because there is a one section of track in between the campus
Yeah, there
on having access to get to it.
Yep.
Is my concern as far as if we need to keep it mowed or anything like that, or can we reach out to the other homeowner and maybe do something similar, or at least get an easement to get to it?
There is an alleyway that exists between the two properties, so I don't know if the public would be, there would be a public easement through there. So the access would be.
so I stand corrected, that piece of property is not contiguous with the street department campus. I want to make sure that abundantly clear. There is an alleyway, it looks like, that goes down through there. But there is a parcel 780, or 786 West Center, it looks like, is not owned by the city.
Yeah, so this property is near our street department campus. There is also some, and we've had some communication with the potential developer of the Madison Elementary School about that property that sits all behind the street department. Now, it's not necessarily usable, but it may be at some point, maybe a conversation where it's given to us to become part of the city. So there is some continuity in this parcel and some future parcels that may be needed moving forward, depending on what we do with the street department in the future. So it's still, although it's not contiguous, it still would play a future role in the expansion of the street department in the future if need be.
All right. Stand corrected on that.
Yeah, good point.
Questions?
I should have corrected you. It's fine. I would just like to know from legal, what motion do you want or action at this time related to STEP? How do we, what do you want me to say if I move to approve?
I think you're just giving us permission to seek out the avenue of which we would obtain this property and the due diligence behind that.
That works for me.
So moved.
I'll second that,
All right, any further discussion or questions?
including a lien search and stuff like that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Justin. Thank you, Jeremy, and thanks, Dustin. Appreciate it. All right, Justin, you're still up. There's a pay application for number 17 for the Lincoln Sidewalk Project.
Yeah, so you've seen about 16 of these, but this is pay application 17 for the Lincoln Sidewalk Project. It's in the amount of $1,845. It's just a continuation of those preliminary engineering studies as well as the utility work that needs to be done in there.
I move to accept.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you, sir. All right, Dustin, pay app number 4 for the Lincoln Drive, Johnson Street project, street project.
Yeah, this is just the next pay app basically for the work that's been performed. The project's been moving along. A little slower lately just due to the weather this past week and whatnot, but hoping to get this completed in within the next 3 to 4 weeks. By the end of the month, it should be all complete.
All right. And there's a letter from the city engineer that he's inspected and approved the request for payment, that the work's been done. So, questions?
No. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.
All right. Rebecca, got a request from the Wastewater Payment Office to alter the credit dates a bit, and it appears to me that at least in the summer, the idea here is there's dates that they're covered, but they are covering certain service times. And by changing this, it would make it more appropriate for watering, appropriate watering times. So at the end of the day, this improves the service date coverage from March 15th to October 15th, which right now it's February 15th through September 15th. Those are the coverage dates. So what we're asking is that the billing dates be changed, the summer credit billing consideration be changed from, changed to May through November instead of March through October. Did I say that right? And then there's a second piece to that in the winter.
Right. The winter dates are covering like into the spring when people start watering. So I was wanting to change that for the winter dates to be through December 15th through March 15th. Because right now they are covering, we're using their winter average from September to December.
I see.
So people are still watering in September, and then we're using that as their winter average.
Jeff, do you fill your pool
Yeah,
in
it's- well,
January?
That's what okay, so I'm just trying to think of others, because I run into this. I have 14 flower pots.
Yeah.
I'm still watering. And then the swimming pool, when you fill it and you hit it, you see my numbers. May, November, which means it's gonna be March to October, March 15th is,
Service dates.
yeah. I would say most people are hitting high water. I mean, you had one, Joe, at one time, 1st of May is when you're gonna start to hit if you have a pool.
Yeah.
And then May, June is when you have to start watering as the flowers or the grass.
Right.
And again, it can hit late in the year because I'm still doing it. It's getting close, but I'm still doing
As
it.
many, because we've got several phone calls each year since, you know,
Yes.
we've been doing it 3 years now, so we're starting to see a pattern of people calling who get high bills because they're still watering.
Yes, pool closing. I did one for a family member a week ago, and I'm doing mine this weekend. So everything is still being watered and maintained.
Yeah.
Plus people that with yards and gardens and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you looking that direction. It's been such a good thing for many in the community with, you know, the large amount of water usage. And I appreciate you extending the date. And also you're making it friendlier too. You're not asking for this to be every year. I think initially it was asking now if I'm on the water credit program, because I do have an issue, you're maintaining that every year.
Right. You don't
That's
have
really
to call
nice of you to
every
do
time.
that.
Yeah.
I think, Mayor, very friendly for people in my situation, and most, even if they don't have a pool, the watering of the plants in the yard, it's still continuing.
So again, just so we all understand what this does, since our wastewater usage is based on the water bill, they're taking that summertime water usage, knowing that it's not going into the sewer, and making an adjustment so that people aren't dinged on their sewage bill for maybe a higher amount of water they're using in those times. So it's for the sewage bill, but it affects the water usage.
So, like explaining to the community, through the winter months, my family, just the water in the home, you're getting a really good idea what we normally use, and then you see the numbers increase. And like the mayor said, then you don't pay for that because it's in the yard, it's not going into the sewage system. Yeah, well, that's a great point, Mayor.
All right, so
So Rebecca had asked me about this, and I said, I suggested that she bring it here first, but I think the ordinance may have to be changed or updated. That reflects the summer credit.
I'm almost certain it
Okay.
does. So
Is that something-
we're giving permission for you to pursue that process.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that necessary?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, all right.
Council then could
Yep.
take a look. Okay. If it's okay what you're wanting, I move to approve your request before the Board of Works.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So again, so everybody understands, there's another step involved before this happens, and that would be an amendment to the rate ordinance, I assume.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, item number 10, this is a stormwater project feasibility study, Spring Hill Road.
This is a project that came to James's attention really early spring. And then all the COVID stuff hit and we kind of haven't done much with it. And then we had another contact with the homeowner out there and we ultimately met Cardno out there to sort of look at our options. It's kind of an interesting area. Stormwater runs off into a ravine and we're some concerns with the erosion in that ravine, and then the area between where the ravine ends and the lake, Center Lake.
Pike.
Pike Lake. It's kind of forming a delta area. And so we wanted to meet with Cardno and all this is going to do is let them kind of look at it and give us the options of how we can improve the drainage in that area. It used to be a direct sort of ditch from the ravine area to the lake, and now, like I said, it's become more like of a delta area. So the homeowner feels like he would like to have some of his property shoreline back, and we just want to see what all our options are to improve that area. I don't know, James, if you have anything to add to any of that, no?
All right, so this is just for a feasibility study to see what's going to be involved. The cost of $8,500.
I'll move to approve. Sounds important.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. And then, Brian, you've got a pay app for Kokosing construction of the sewage plant expansion project.
Yes. This is pay app 19 for Kokosing. The work's been reviewed by Wessler, our representative, and then in-house, where we are recommending payment for work performed.
Again, that's been certified by our engineer, the inspection that work has been done.
Yes.
So, are there any questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And then you've got a payment to Wessler for the engineering of the same project.
Yeah, this is for the construction oversight and ongoing engineering, any questions that come up. So this is a payment for the engineering services.
Questions?
No.
Move to approve.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, got a couple travel requests here in state to Plainfield for officer. Brad Keller and Gordy Allen. Any
Right.
questions?
No, just recertification, they've already, to help train.
As instructors. Okay,
I move to accept both as presented.
Second?
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Jennifer. Lynn did present a special claim of $150,000 to Wishbone Medical. This is the incentive loan that will be, needs to be acted on. So in the interest of timing, that's been presented to you today. Council has approved this through our revolving loan fund.
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. And then the claims dockets,
I didn't see anything, did
Actually,
you?
no.
3 of them.
I'll move we approve the claims docket as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, Any items carried forward or any other comments, questions, visitors? Everybody's looking at each other. There must not be. I just see these masks and these beady little eyeballs looking back and forth.
Mayor, with the new technology, the Deer Task Force, which, as mayor, and then I think the police department, so I don't think I'm out of turn here. The new technology reporting, we have 18 deer that have been taken already in 15 days. So, incredible amount of information that I have access to if you're ever wanting to see it. I think I've shared that with you before in the past, but we are up and running and so far off to a good start. So thank you to you, the police department, and then our countless volunteers that are doing this kind of thing, right down to the archers in the field.
Well, it seems to be an ongoing issue, so I know we've been at it for a while, and if we can get more efficient at it, that makes sense. So thank you. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Thank you.